Royal Caribbean International presents Cruisin' Time. Today, traveling around the world in style. Cruising in the new millennium. We're not in Kansas anymore. And out with the old, in with the new.
And welcome to Cruisin' Time. I'm Lou Ann Walters, your host for the next 30 minutes. Today we're going to take you to a few of the wonderful historic ports of call in the Mediterranean, courtesy a taste of the Mediterranean on board the Legend of the Seas. The Legend also has what they call Royal Journeys, which takes you to many more ports of call around the world, like Asia, Australia, and Greece. More about that in just a second. But first, for your future travel plans, Cruise Director Noelle Sippes and I thought it might be fun to take you on a kind of tour of the Royal Caribbean Fleet around the world. When we think of Rome, of course, this fabulous, magnificent monument behind us comes to mind, the Roman Colosseum.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was inaugurated in 80 AD, and it was the site of some of the world's most spectacular violent scenes. As a matter of fact, the fans would yell out "Jugula," which means slit his throat.
Well, that's a different form of entertainment, isn't it?
Sure is.
But it's so neat to be in a city that has so many really old places to visit that are still here. Thank goodness they've been preserved this long. Noelle, what I wanted to ask you about, as cruise director currently on board the Legend, one of the most fantastic itineraries that we have, personally, I think, in the fleet, the Royal Journeys. Now, you're doing a taste of the Mediterranean, you're going throughout Italy and France and Spain, but then the Royal Journeys takes us even further. Tell us a little bit about that.
This is true. We begin out of Athens, Greece, and we take the ship from Athens through 5 ports in the Middle East, through the Suez Canal. We wind up in Singapore. We're going to exotic ports like India, all the way down to Australia, New Zealand, making our way up to the Philippines and as far north as Hong Kong.
Wow. So you're really going to get a taste of a lot of different cultures on the Royal Journeys. That's fantastic. Well, you know what I wanted to do today with yourself and myself is to give our viewers here a little bit of a taste themselves of not just the Mediterranean ports and the Royal Journeys ports that we have, but really our ships go everywhere around the world. So why don't we try to do this, let's say alphabetically. You take an A and I'll do an A, you do a B and I'll do a B, and we'll see if we can't make our way through the alphabet. Does that sound all right?
All right, sounds good. I'm accepting the challenge.
Okay, here we go.
Alaska.
Antigua.
Barcelona.
Boston.
Cozumel.
Coco Cay.
Denmark.
Dublin.
Europe.
Ensenada, Mexico.
Funchal, Madeira.
France.
Grand Cayman.
And Gibraltar. Well, not so bad, Noelle. We got through the first 7 letters of the alphabet. We are now at the Forum, the Roman Forum. This was a magnificent place where they used to have marble and gold palaces, also where the Roman Senate gathered in the Curia.
As tradition states, if you toss a coin over your shoulder into the fountain, it's guaranteed that you'll make a trip back to Rome.
I think there's something to be said with that tradition.
This is true. 15 years ago, I tossed my first coin in the fountain, and here we are today.
See, look at it. I did that 2 years ago and came back. So you want to guarantee that we come back to Rome?
I think so. Let's give it a try.
Here we go. All right, we're coming back to Rome. Here we are in front of the Pantheon, a remarkable building, really, built in 27 BC as a temple of all the gods.
And it was reconstructed after a fire and became a church in the 7th century.
Now we are in Valletta, Malta, a very interesting island just north of the continent of Africa, west of Italy. One of the great things about travel is that it makes the other side of the world as easy to get to as walking next door. And as the travel industry grows, so does Royal Caribbean International. Ships are continually on order or being built and introduced for the millennium a new type of megaship that could change the course of cruising. To tell us all about it, we go to the top, the Chief Executive Officer of Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited, Mr. Richard Fain.
When you measure cruising against virtually any other type of vacation, the satisfaction rate is higher than just about anything you can name.
Royal Caribbean CEO Richard Fain has been involved in the cruise industry since it really began to pick up speed in the 70s. Before that, cruising was simply a form of transportation. Then it became a vacation at sea with visits to a few, mostly Caribbean ports. And that wraps up Cruisin' Time. From all of us at Royal Caribbean International, here's to you having an excellent cruise.